Welcome to my channel. My name is Cerise Fairfax, and today we're going to talk about dreams. Dreams is a huge part of life, and a lot of us think, well, that's only sleep. Like, what does sleeping have to do with our life? It has a lot to do with who we are. For instance, it's our subconscious mind. We dream about the past. We live in the present, and we can predict the future. Dreams about anything at all in our life, a school, even an event, will always have an impact on who we are. But today we're going to talk about dreaming about water. A lot of people have dreams about water, and they don't realize what water actually represents. Water is a very strong force. It has a lot to do with emotion. Babies are in amniotic fluid for 9 months before they come out. Water is a main source of what we need to survive. Water is a main source of what the world needs to survive. Mother Nature. Most of the earth is covered with water. When we dream about water, it represents our emotions on different levels. But today we're going to focus on water in regards to you going into water. Now, there are other dreams, like for instance, a flood in your home. That's not what this dream is about. We're going to get to more in the water series. But right now we're going to talk about being in a boat or walking in water. And we're going to talk about the difference, whether it is murky or clear, and also what emotions are going through you throughout this dream. So let's first start with one of the most common ones, where a person is dreaming and they're in a boat, and it's just a simple boat, and there's like a lot of rocking going on, and there's some waves, and they fall into the water, deep, deep water. At that moment, the prediction of the dream will rely on your emotions, your reaction to being in the water, whether you get pushed in, fall in, or jump in. What were your emotions like at that moment? Did you feel like you were afraid? Did you feel like there may be sharks coming up from below to bite you? Or did you feel like, this is totally all right. Warm water, nice sunny day. It's all right. I can always jump back in the boat. How did you feel? Because if you felt really good, then that means that there is going to become a situation around you that has to do with emotions, but it's going to comfort you. Something highly emotional is going to happen. So most likely it's going to be something very positive in your life, but it's also going to be something very important because of the deep water, the depth of the water itself. That represents the depth of the situation that is going to come. You see, all dreams predict the future. So, or they help you to understand your past. But mainly, if that water is deep and you fall into it and you feel good, that means there's going to be an emotional situation that's going to come your way, and you're going to handle it like a champ, and it's going to make you feel comfortable. Usually that has to do with a promotion, a proposal. It also has to do with something that is going to be a commitment, because it's deep water, which means a lot of commitment. Now let's say that the water is frightening you. You're so terrified. You're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? You're terrified that there's something that can come from the bottom. You're looking at the top and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a rainstorm. And you just feel like the people who you were in the boat with, whether you were with someone alone, or the people who you were in the boat with, they don't care about you, they're not trying to help you, that represents that you're going to have an issue that is going to come at you. Now, that could be an issue from the past, some unresolved emotional issues that you need to deal with. It could be that you're going to have some type of a discourse with a person that you've known for a very long time. Remember the great amount of water. It could also just mean that you are about to enter some type of issue, like a legal issue, or like you're about to write a certain contract out, but you're nervous, you're afraid, you don't know what to do. Well, that dream indicates that there will be some issues around it. It also represents a relationship that you might be entering into, a relationship that is not that good for you, and a relationship that looks like it's going to be long term, but you need to get yourself out of that situation as soon as possible because the emotions around it are making you feel unsafe. Now, let's back up a little bit and let's talk about the shoreline. So let's say you're going into, whether it's a river or if it's a beach front, something of that nature, maybe a creek. It depends on the amount of water. If you're up to your toes and, you're like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of fish around, and you're nervous and you run back out, that means just you're going to encounter something that's going to be emotional, but you're going to have a lot of control over it. It's just going to be a little problem that's going to come your way, but it's going to be problematic enough to make you feel uncomfortable, especially if the water is murky and you don't know what's below. You're just like, oh my gosh, like what's that? Like, holy, I don't know what's under there. An anaconda? When you get like really nervous because the water is so dark. Well, it depends on how far you go into that water. So if you go up to your ankles, you can always run back out really quickly. You go up to your knees, you can run back out really quickly. It's when you start going in deeper and deeper and deeper, willingly, in dark, murky water that represents that you are the issue. You are putting yourself more and more into issues, and you are risking yourself. You're putting yourself at risk in a certain emotional situation. Usually that indicates a new relationship, a new friendship. It represents that we know the person is not all that good for us. We know the person is a bad influence, but we continue to go and join with them. We continue to hang out with them more. We continue to go on more dates. We continue an emotional connection with them to the point where we know that we need to run back to shore, but we don't. Sometimes when the feeling is really great and you're walking in the water and you can see through the water and it's crystal clear and you are entering the water and you're getting up to your knees and you're feeling comfortable, that usually means that you're about to enter a very healthy relationship. You are entering a healthy relationship. You are on the shores of this emotional embankment that's going to give you the will and the drive to continue to move forward and also feel really good about what you're doing. So that's the water situation. Always remember that when we wake up in our dream, it will indicate to us through our emotions how we feel. But water itself represents emotion. We're going to be doing a whole water series. Then we're going to do a whole fire series. We're going to do a whole earth series, like wind and, air and stuff like that. And then we're also going to do a whole entire series on mud and ground and stuff of that nature, because these are all elements of the earth, and these elements come to us in our dreams. So they really do help us to predict the future, understand the past, and be content with the present. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Cerise Fairfax. I have other videos on this channel, and I have a whole bunch of other videos that I do online here, right here in the YouTube community. I do a little bit of celebrity gossip. I live in the Dominican Republic, so I also help people to move here and relocate to the Dominican Republic like I did from Canada. So if you have the dream of doing that, then let me know. And I also just do a little bit of news here online. I'm always dabbling at something on YouTube because it's one of my favorite platforms and it's where I love to come and share. Thank you so much for joining me. Please, when you subscribe, don't forget to hit that like button. That lets me know that you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions about dreams, put them down below in the comment section because I always read the comments, and sometimes there's a dream that you may have that I'm not thinking about analyzing or predicting, and I could help you out. Thank you so much for joining. Please be good to yourself out there. Sweet dreams.